For nearly 20 years, Heartland has been more than just a television series. It has been a companion. A place where millions of viewers have found comfort, hope, and inspiration through the lives of the Fleming Bartlett family. From the very beginning, the show gave us a window into a world filled with love, resilience, and the struggles of everyday life on the ranch. But now, with season 19 approaching, the story seems to be moving toward a crossroads that no fan could have imagined. And the question everyone is whispering about refuses to go away. Could Amy Fleming, the very heart of Heartland, be facing her final chapter? This thought alone has shaken fans around the world. Because Amy isn't just another character. She represents the spirit of the series. For so many viewers, she has been the reason they kept coming back, season after season. Her bond with horses. Her compassion as a daughter, a sister, and a mother. Her strength in the face of hardship. Amy has been the anchor of Heartland's emotional journey since its very first episode. Which is why the idea of losing her feels almost unthinkable. But let's take a step back. This isn't the first time Heartland has delivered a devastating shock. Remember Ty Borden's death in season 14? That single storyline shattered the foundation of the show. For years, Ty and Amy's love story had been the beating heart of Heartland. When Ty's life was cut short, fans were left grieving as though they had lost someone from their own family. Many even questioned whether the show could survive such a loss. Yet Heartland continued. But it was never the same. The tone changed. The warmth and optimism that had carried the story for so long began to fade, replaced by grief, uncertainty, and a struggle to rebuild. And that's why Amy's possible death feels even heavier. Because if the show could kill off Ty, the character who seemed untouchable, then is anyone truly safe? This is where the speculation begins. Some believe Amy's story is nearing its natural end. That after nearly 2 decades, the writers might close the series with her departure. Others argue the opposite, that Amy is irreplaceable, and Heartland without her cannot exist. The truth is, both sides raise compelling points. And that's exactly what makes this conversation so powerful. Think about it. If Amy were to die, what would that mean for Lindy, her daughter? Would Heartland dare to mirror Amy's own childhood, when she lost her mother at such a young age? Could the series repeat that heartbreaking cycle, showing Lindy forced to grow up without her mother, just as Amy once did? The thought is painful, but it is also undeniably poetic. And yet, there's another possibility. One that feels just as real. What if Amy doesn't die, but instead chooses a different path? A path where she raises Lindy on her own, without seeking another great love after Ty. Could Heartland end with Amy older, wiser, and content, dedicating her life to her daughter, her horses, and the memory of Ty? Such an ending would not be tragic, but it would still carry immense weight. But here's the thing. This uncertainty isn't random. It's rooted in how the show has been unfolding in recent years. Ty's death wasn't just a shock, it was a turning point. It showed fans that the writers were unafraid of taking the story into darker, more realistic territory. Life on the ranch was no longer just about healing horses and celebrating family milestones. It became about loss, grief, and the difficult journey of moving forward. And as we head into season 19, Amy's fate feels like the next big question. Could this be the moment Heartland finally closes the curtain? Or is Amy destined to carry the series forward one last time, guiding the story toward a more hopeful conclusion? These questions are what keep fans awake at night, scrolling through forums, debating with one another, and holding on to every small detail released about the new season. And the deeper you look, the more fascinating the possibilities become. As whispers about Amy Fleming's future grow louder, the theories surrounding her possible death are becoming more intense. Fans are not only debating if it could happen, but how it might happen. And the possibilities range from heartbreaking to shocking. Some believe the writers could take the most realistic and devastating route, illness. A battle with something like cancer would reflect the unpredictability of real life. It would align perfectly with the darker, more grounded tone Heartland has embraced in recent years. Imagine the emotional weight of Amy, the healer of others, suddenly facing an illness that she cannot heal herself. The sheer impact of such a storyline would not only devastate viewers but also leave a lasting mark on the show's legacy. Others imagine a scenario echoing season 13, when Amy was shot but survived. What if that time was simply a foreshadowing? What if in season 19, the danger returns, but this time, Amy does not make it through? A sudden, violent twist would shock fans to their core, reminding everyone that no character is safe. Just like Ty's sudden loss, Amy's tragic departure would reinforce the idea that Heartland reflects the harshness of life, not just its beauty. But then there's the poetic theory. The idea that Amy's story might mirror her own mother's. Just as Amy grew up without Marion, Lindy might face the same cruel fate of losing her mother too soon. This cyclical storytelling would be devastating, yet undeniably powerful. It would show the circle of life, repeating itself in ways that feel both cruel and meaningful. The symmetry of this possibility has made many fans uneasy, yet strangely fascinated. Still, not all predictions end in tragedy. A growing group of fans believe that instead of dying, Amy could be given a gentler ending. In this version, she might step away from romance altogether, choosing not to pursue a future with Nathan or anyone else. Her story would then become one of independence, resilience, and the quiet strength of a single mother determined to raise her daughter while honoring Ty's memory. Imagine an older Amy, sitting with a grown Lindy, sharing stories of her life. She would speak of her love for Ty, her challenges, and her triumphs. And in her final days, Amy would not be taken from the world suddenly, but would pass peacefully, surrounded by the family she held together for so many years. This softer ending would still bring tears, but they would be tears of closure, not shock. The uncertainty is what makes this moment in Heartland's history so gripping. Will Amy's journey end in heartbreak, or will she be allowed to grow old, guiding Lindy into adulthood? These questions are haunting fans everywhere. And the more you think about them, the more you realize that no matter which direction the writers choose, the outcome will change the way Heartland is remembered forever. Because let's face it, Amy is not just a character. She is the foundation. Without her, the story itself collapses. Unlike Ty, whose absence left a wound but still allowed the series to continue, Amy's departure would mark the end of the line. To remove her would be to close the book entirely. This is why so many fans believe that if Amy dies in season 19, it won't just be her story that ends. It will be the final curtain for Heartland itself. And that possibility leads to another powerful question. Could season 19 be the last season of Heartland? If Amy Fleming's story were to end in season 19, it would not just be another twist in a long-running series. It would be the defining moment that closes the chapter on nearly 2 decades of television history. Fans sense this. That's why the speculation has become so intense. Because Amy's fate doesn't just belong to her, it belongs to the entire world of Heartland. Look back at Ty. Even years after his death, his shadow still stretches across every episode. His presence lingers in flashbacks, in dream sequences, and in Amy's every step forward. Ty was more than a character, he was a symbol of the show's soul. And many fans believe that Heartland has never truly moved beyond him. Every storyline, every relationship, every moment of healing has been tied back to Ty in one way or another. This is why Amy's journey feels like the final piece. Because Heartland, at its core, has always been the story of Amy and Ty. Their love defined it. Their struggles shaped it. And their legacy continues to echo through every storyline. If Amy were to die, that story would come full circle. It would bring everything back to where it began, showing that the love and loss that built Heartland are inseparable. And yet, some argue that ending Amy's story with tragedy would be too much. The fans have already endured Ty's loss. They have already watched the optimism of the series dim into shadows. To take Amy away too might feel like tearing away the last light of hope. In this view, Amy must survive. Not because the show demands it, but because the fans deserve it. After years of heartbreak, they want to see a conclusion rooted in resilience, not despair. But here's the catch. Heartland has never been afraid to reflect life as it truly is. And life is unpredictable. Life is fragile. And life, as we know, is not always fair. That is what makes season 19 so unpredictable. Will the writers choose to honor the fans' desire for hope? Or will they stay true to the raw, realistic edge that has defined the later seasons? The debate rages across forums, social media, and living rooms everywhere. Some plead with the writers not to take Amy away. Others insist that her death would be the boldest, most memorable ending the show could deliver. And somewhere in the middle lies the truth. Because whether Amy lives or dies, one fact cannot be denied: her story is the heartbeat of Heartland. Without her, there is no foundation left to stand on. So here we are. Nearly 20 years of laughter, heartbreak, family bonds, and unforgettable moments have brought us to this single, haunting question. Is season 19 the beginning of a new chapter for Amy Fleming, or is it the end of the journey that has defined an entire generation of viewers? As fans wait for answers, one thing is certain. Whatever happens, Amy Fleming's legacy, and the legacy of Heartland itself, will live on in the hearts of everyone who has ever loved the series. And now the question turns to you. What do you believe season 19 holds? Will Amy survive to guide Lindy into the future, or will Heartland close its story with the most emotional ending yet? Because when the truth is revealed, it won't just be another season premiere. It will be the moment that defines how Heartland is remembered forever.